Hey everybody, Gears here, and what I'm going to talk about in this video is the need to get the process down for how I'm doing this, just for one full loop of information at some point. So I'll pick a panel, I'll clean it, mix up the JB Weld, do every single thing, apply it, magnetize it, and so on. Not necessarily this panel right here, but definitely one of them. There's really not too much to report other than that it's moving along fine. I'm taking a lot more photos than anything else, so I have a reference of every single panel as I do it, so I can go back and like this one here originally broke off, or it peeled up on a couple edges, and when I looked back at the photo of it, I barely had any magnets on it. Nowadays I'm throwing tons of them. On this panel alone I had 250 magnets and just about nearly 300 on this one for a full 24 hours each too. So I'm going to throw down a couple more. I have officially run out of large sheet styrene. I do have several thicknesses of this, it's probably 1x1 sheets, so I can still do a lot of paneling, but until I get a really large sheet, some of these longer pieces I just won't be able to do at all. But I'll be able to fill in here, for example. I can do these panels up here and so on, and there's even a lot of panels on the side I want to do, but a lot of those I want to be larger. Just about time to start working on the starboard, I think. It's pretty empty so far. But this is really going to help fill out the hood. Let me put the few pieces I do have in place and we'll see what I've got total. And the first step is to identify what parts I want to bond down at a given time. So what I've done now is to magnetize all the pieces I have pre-cut on hand down there. Here, there's 2. There's 3 here for 5. You might see I'm doing a little work on this one. 6. 7 pieces. And you can see I've already thrown a few magnets in this one, and that's because this is the one I've decided to work on. Pulling up the other magnets, I may have enough to do this guy here, in which case I will. And yeah, so let's see what happens. Next up is washing the area itself down with just plain water, then buffing it down dry and get rid of as much dirt as possible with a dry paper towel. So before I actually bond a piece to the body, what I've started doing, what I've learned to do, is to lay out all the magnets I'll be needing for that piece, and in that way I know I'm not going to run short on a piece if I start off thinking, oh, I only need a few, and wind up with far too few rather than a lot of many. So this is the second piece that's going to go on. I need these 2 pieces in place, so these magnets are going to hold them in place until I get that down, and then I'll pull those magnets up and put them on the center right in that area there. So out of 7 pieces, there's 2 going down today. I've got another 100 magnets on the way, so that will help out, put me up to probably 350. I'm trying to retire the very small ones, except in rare circumstances, and keep them all the same size. So once I get these set down, it's just about time to start drawing out some new pieces to attach. 5 pieces is the least I've had on hand to do, and they're all kind of boring pieces. But I should get them done because a few of them go back to the very first batch that I did a couple months ago, so it's time to get them in place. So as I wipe this down and clean it up, I can't help but reflect on the loss of the inherent artfulness of everything. These textures are just beautiful, and very soon they'll be lost for good. I am comforted in the fact that I will be getting them back on an entirely brand new canvas. Once the piece has been cleaned off, the next step is to scrape up the back with this serrated blade. I'll need 2 hands for that. But the idea is to just rough up the surface and help give it some tooth. In a couple cases, like this panel here, I carved up the entire surface, and this panel here, I also carved up the surface to help with the bonding as well. So I'll do that in some cases, but not most. So in the one instance, I'm scuffing up the edges with the serration on this, and then I'm scraping down the back with the flat of this to get as much debris off the back as possible. I've already done a few passes on this piece. Now with all the striations all set, it's time to get some JB Weld going.